I did do a little bit of reading up on mice, and apparently they do prefer to live in a clean house. So they pick my house, but then for food, I guess they go outside just like me. So yeah. Hello, Crazy Nice Homes. Welcome. Hello, my name is Wei Chun, and I live in a shop house in Juchiat. It's about 1,300 square feet. Through a friend, agent friend, we managed to find this place. It was in its original condition. It was about 40 to 50 years old already. I mean, the house was so old that the toilet was a squat toilet. So to do this house, I engaged a friend of mine, but basically the brief to him was to make this into a house that looks more like a design studio, but still function as a house. It's quite minimal. It's got a lot of like seemingly raw cement surfaces, but mostly it's white. White because when I started working from home, I wanted it to look more like a design studio, so I didn't want to have stuff to distract me. So the idea was to have a lot of white walls. Yeah, and I think when you walk in, because I was expecting to have some clients in the house, and sometimes I would do shoots in the house as well. So I think we also kept it very minimal because then it's very flexible, like I can dress up the house for shoots or whatever. And also when you walk into the house, it feels like a studio, like almost like a design studio. Obviously we took down a lot of walls in this place, but if you look at the design and how he accomplished the design, he streamlined a lot of things. So even though it's an old house, not necessarily very well designed initially, the way he changed the walls and changed the proportions of the windows and the doors and the built-ins, he created a certain kind of harmony. If you look at the house, right, because I'm a graphic designer by training, I can see all the lines start to match up. And so actually it subconsciously created a very harmonious and very zen-like feeling, and you don't quite know why. It's probably because it's very white, but also because a lot of things line up actually. So I think subconsciously it does affect how you feel about the house, because it just feels very peaceful and everything lines up. Yeah. So you will see around the house there are cement benches everywhere which he created. So that's really very, very useful. It serves both as seating during parties, and also the cement benches have spaces underneath. So I have a huge collection of magazines and books. So they also serve as storage space, which is quite useful. What's really great about the airwell is during the daytime, it acts almost like a light box. So it actually brings in a lot of natural light into the house. And so you will see during the daytime, we don't need any light for that part of the house, which normally can be quite dark, but it's actually very, very bright. Yeah. But at night, I think the house does change dramatically. If you look around the house, you do not have typical lights hanging from the ceiling. Everything is working on the principle of bounce light. So if you look at all the lights that we install around the house, the idea is at night you rarely see direct light. So that means there's no like harsh bulb going into your eyes. Even when you look up, everything is just very soft, kind of like bounce light. The bulbs are actually directed towards walls, the white walls, and then the light comes off from there. One of the issues about moving into old shop houses, especially ones as old as this, is you are always going to get water issues. That's one problem. Other things that are maybe out of control are maybe pests. I used to have a mice problem as well, even though my house is super clean, but there was a family of mice that decided my house would be a good home. There's a lot of food around here, so obviously then there's a lot of food for pests as well. So even though I keep my house very clean, I did do a little bit of reading up on mice, and apparently they do prefer to live in a clean house. So they pick my house, but then for food, I guess they go outside just like me. So yeah. I think the mistake was when I foresaw the first mice, I should have done something about it. But because the first mice was tiny and was cute, I didn't do anything about it. And then within the space of a few months, right, it multiplied. Yeah. So my advice is, if you do see mice running around, try and do something about it as soon as possible, because if you leave it, right, they multiply. I really know my lifestyle very, very well, and I like to create areas around my house where I can move around to work in. So even the way the furniture is placed in the house suits the way I work. So I think it's good to be a bit more brave and to rethink very carefully how you would like to live comfortably, and then see whether you can design a house that fits your lifestyle rather than you fitting into a house in a very typical way. So I think that's the fun part about doing your own house. I mean, definitely that's the reason why my work space is just next to the lounge. Because I think when my friends or family or whatever is here, right, I know they'll probably be watching TV. Then if I'm working, right, then I'm just sitting behind them. Then I'm not so separated from them. So then that suits the lifestyle, you see. You're not creating barriers to your relationship. I would say definitely in almost 10 years, the favorite part has become the dining table. And even that, right, I think that's where the expertise of my interior designer really came in, because he designed a long cement bench for everybody to sit on, and then we required a dining table to be put up against it. He already told me, don't buy a typical dining table that has 4 legs on the side, because then when you go in and out of the seated side, right, you have to lift your leg, and then for girls, especially if they're wearing skirts, it's very awkward. So actually I found a table that has legs in a very different way, so that you can slide in and there's no legs to obstruct you. So there are little features like that which I think make it nice. But that area is definitely my favorite. I do a lot of work there as well because of the natural light coming from the air well. So it feels very calm, it feels like a mini garden. Almost all my guests, when they come in, they love sitting there. There's a lot of gatherings there, so there's a lot of memories in that little space as well. So I hope you like this house tour. Remember to click like and subscribe for more content to Crazy Nice Homes. Bye.